Begin the current Daf and final Daf, Mesechta Yevamos Daf Chav Beis, begin 7 lines down at the top of the Yomim. The Gemara continues the discussion from the previous Daf, which we were discussing regarding the nemanus of who can have a woman get remarried. We spoke about a non-Jew, with 3 different types of categories, which is if he's intending to have the woman get remarried, that for sure we don't trust him. Then there was a discussion, is it sufficient even if he's lahayid, if he's coming to testify but not to be matter, or no, do you even need to have that he's not even intending to even testify, but rather masech levitumai is just innocently saying what happened, and then we trust him to allow the woman to get remarried. And that's what the Gemara continues on the theme. Joining us for today's and final daf in Mesechta Yevamos. Some of those we discussed in today's daf are stories where an Evik Chav was masech levitumai and the wives were allowed to marry. Then we continue with the halacha in the next Mishnah and discuss regarding different ways that we're allowed to be lenient regarding to have the woman get remarried. One of them is a machlekes b'sham b'sil regarding do you marry based on the baskal. If you hear like a voice ringing out and saying that this person died, you go and you base it on that to let her get remarried. The story how it came about that even one aid is believed by Eidus Isha, which is a big chiddush in halacha, that mishum iguna, that they're lenient. Where did that story evolve from? And finally, on the base, machlekes should be keeping a tarf regarding if you bid can medusha the chakira, do we do all types of investigation to the person who's testifying the husband died to allow the woman to get remarried or not? So we begin the current daf, final daf kofkom base, 7 lines down at the top of the Yomim. We're discussing here regarding that Evik Chav, according to everyone, is believed at least is Messiah, he's what's called talking lefitumay, innocently, just saying over something, and then because of that we allow the woman to get remarried. So Abba Yudan ish tzayad and Amar. So in Ma'aseh Yisrael by Evik Chav and Shalch Badech, there was a story where a Jew and a non-Jew that were walking on the road. We'll go Evik Chav and Amar, and then the non-Jew came along and he said, Chaval, what a loss. Meaning it's like a sign of moaning, of agmas nefesh. Al Yehudi shahira imi baderech, with the Jew that was with me on the road. Shemeis baderech l'kvartiv, he died on the journey and I buried him. And they married up his wife. Again, he was just like, bemoaning the fact, he was in the pub and he was saying, never for this Jew. And again, that's Masech of Yitumai, then we allowed them to get remarried. Shuv Ma'isa, another story was Bekoiler, where a group, Shabbat Adam of people, they were going to Antuchia, the name of the place. And along came a non-Jew and he said, woe to the group of people that they died and I buried them. And again, they married off their wives. Another story was there were 60 people. They were coming when they were laying siege, when Beta was under siege. And an idol worshiper came along and they said, woe to these 60 people that were going on the path of Beta, that they died, and they buried them. Again, the seriousness is saying they married up their wives because it's Messiah, and then even the Evik Chav is believed to allow the woman to get remarried. Now we do the halacha. The next Mishnah, again, continuing on this theme regarding what is the me'idin, the testimony to regarding someone who died to allow the woman to get remarried. Says the Mishnah Eden, you could testify even lo'er haner. Even if you could only identify the person, you identify them only by the light of a candle, or lo'er alabano, only by the light of the moon. That's enough of an identification to allow the woman to remarry. So to masina pibasko, you could go ahead and marry based on a heavenly voice, which is they hear a voice screaming out, "This person died," and they don't see the person in his form. That's sufficient. As the Mishnah brings, Ma'aseh be'echad shaman or Har ba'amad, it was a story where someone stood up on the top of the mountain. He said, Ish pleni ben pleni, mimokam pleni meis. This person, the son of this person from that place died. Hopefully, they went to see and they didn't see any person over there. That's what we're calling that like a baskol, where we don't know where this voice came out, and that's enough to go ahead and remarry the wife. Again, there was a story in Tzalman be'echad sha'amar regarding a person that said, Ani ish pleni ben ish pleni. I am this person, the son of that person. Nashcheni nachash, a snake bit me. For any mason, I'm going to die. They went along and they didn't recognize him. But they went and they married off his wife. Again, these are some of the leniencies that we have regarding marrying off a woman to testify that her husband died. Now, relating to the halacha of Mishnah, Amar Rabbi Shloimy Schwartzberg, they say no, you cannot marry off based on the heavenly voice. They say you can marry off based on the heavenly voice. This is what Rabbi Shmuel said over this brayso. So he must says, "My kamash malon." What is Rabbi Shmuel coming to teach us by quoting this brisa? That Basil holds that you could marry them based on the Baskel and that we should do like them because with halachas look like Basil? Masnitni. This is an anonymous Mishnah that we have in our Mishnah, which says the same idea. And of course that's halacha, because you always say halacha like Stam Mishnah. What are you gaining by saying has a machlekes b'sham Basil? Says he's coming to teach us the Mishnah kachas tama. They must say that even if you're going to find an anonymous Tanoic text that says that you cannot marry the woman based on the Baskel, don't worry, Beishamah. It's Beishamah like you see in this brisa, and the halacha is not like that anonymous Tanoic text, rather like the halacha of our Mishnah, because that's like Beis Hill. Imashkichem Baskel. Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, that's usually what it means, right? We say that. Well, where do we say that? That was by the. Right. Right. So this would be a leniency regarding the marrying of the woman. Right, but I'm saying we have many leniencies. We don't need aiders. We don't. That's an exception. Yeah. And the Mishnah said, the story was that they didn't find the person that was calling out that this man died, and they married off the wife. It says the Gemara, maybe that was a demon, and how could you rely on that? So he says, no, they saw the form of a person in the beginning who was screaming out, so we know that it's a person. It says, but they also go ahead and they also have an appearance of a person. So the Chazle Bavua, they saw a shadow. They also have a shadow. No, so the Chazle Bavua that this entity had a shadow of a shadow, and that's how we knew that it was a human being. So maybe they also have a shadow of a shadow. So if you went there and you didn't find a person and marry off the wife, how do you know it was a person? Maybe it was a shade. Chanina says either that he himself was a shade or he was very well versed in shadim. He told me bavua islu, they only have a shadow, but bavua less, but they don't have a shadow of a shadow. So the okay, fine. So obviously it wasn't the one who was screaming out was not a shade. But maybe he was actually a co-wife of that woman. That maybe this guy married a woman somewhere else, and now she's coming to make it problematic for her because she heard that some relative or some native from that country is visiting, and she's screaming out on the mountaintop saying, this and this person died, and she runs away. And maybe she wants to intend to ruin for the co-wife who is back in the States and ruin it for her. We learned the Bishas is at a time of danger, meaning, for example, let's say someone was thrown into a pit, and he's saying, whoever hears my voice, write a get for my wife. So the lacha is kaisim b'naisim. So you write the get and you give it to her, and we rely on this person, whatever he's saying, that he's saying, I'm that person. They can't see, he's down in the pit, but you write it, even though you don't recognize him. So here also, it's like a shas sakana, because if you don't trust this voice, whoever is screaming out this, you're never going to find another person, and this woman is going to remain laguna. So although you're right, maybe it is a tzara, but we're not going to suspect that in a situation of extreme circumstances where you're not going to believe this person. We might never ever find someone that's going to be telling us this news, and therefore we will rely on that voice. Now, the next Mishnah, which qualifies and brings the source, the origin of this halacha we spoke about much in this last few parakim, we believe one aid to allow the woman to get remarried. What's the source of this halacha? So Amar Rabbi Kiva says, when I went to Narda to make the year into a leap year, but Sasi Nechemi Ish Beis Li says, I encountered Nechemia, a man of Beis Li. Amalei said to me, Shemati says, I heard, She'emasin Asisha Be'eretz Yisrael, Narda's in Bavel, says, I heard that they don't marry off a woman there to Yisrael, Piyadecha, based on the testimony of one witness, Eli Hudman Bavel, he's the only one. So this is what Nechemia Ish Li said to Rabbi Kiva. So Rabbi Kiva says, when and I told him, Kain Advar. Yes, it's exactly like you said. Everyone disagrees with Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava. So Amali said to me, tell the rabbis in my name, Atam Yodim, you know, that the roads are full with bandits, and I can't go to them to testify what I heard. But let me tell you, I received from Rabbi Gamliel the elder, that you could marry off a woman based on testimony of a single witness. Now, it says Rabbi Kiva, not Rabbi Gamliel Hazakan, but the later generation of Gamliel. There was more than Gamliel. And I came and I put this forth He was happy what I was coming to tell him, and he says, we have found support for Gid Baba that he was the only one who espoused this opinion that you can marry after a woman based on a single witness's testimony. Now, from this, the whole discussion, we remembered that actually what happened is that there were people who were killed in Tel Arza. Excuse me. And Ramlil went and married off, Ramlil the elder, married off their wives based on the testimony of one witness. So again, now they're suddenly recalling the taka. This was the way the halacha was, that you could marry off the women based on the testimony of one aid. And and then what happened is it ended up making that the status was that you could marry off based on an aid, one witness, even if that's maybe aid. Even if that one witness actually, he himself didn't even see. He heard from another witness, even from a slave, from a woman, even from a maid servant. That's one opinion. They say, no, you're not allowed to marry of a woman based on the testimony of one witness. He says, lo pi isha, v'lo pi eved, v'lo pi shivcha, v'lo pi krev. Kiva says, look, that one aid cannot be a woman, cannot be a slave, cannot be a maidservant, cannot be relative. Now the problem the Gemara has with this is what we just quoted from Gamliel, this last words of the Mishnah. The Rabbi Kiva really holds api isha loy, and really that based on a woman you cannot go ahead and have the woman get remarried. But V'tanya in the Brisa, Rishim ben Elazar Rebbe Kiva, what did he say in Rebbe Kiva? The following halacha. Isha nemenes lehebi gita. A woman is believed to bring her get from overseas, even though we need her statement. So she has to say b'fanei nechta, b'fanei nechta, in front of me was written, in front of me was signed. Where even a regular person needs to say that. For sure, the woman that's bringing her own get, everyone has to say that. Even so, that she's being trusted regarding her own divorce, we believe her. Why? It's mikabel chaimer. What's the kabel chaimer? Uman nashim, if regarding the 5 women of the previous paragraph of Kavitzayim and Alf, Shama Chacham, that the sages said, they're not believed to say that the husband died. Like we said, the mother-in-law, and regarding the daughter-in-law, and regarding the co-wife, and there were all these women that we said we don't believe them to say the husband died. But Nemanis Levi Giteim, they are believed, as the Gemara says in the second paragraph, given up of Gimel Beis, to bring the get, to bring the divorce document, as already explained on the previous topic, because Eksav Bechiach. So we differentiate between get and between saying if he died. So then Zu, and this is the main point of the words we're bringing in from the question. This is Rabbi Kiva's teaching. Shenemenes lememeis bal. But the wife herself is believed to say that her husband died, meaning a regular woman. In addition, shenemenes lehebi gita, isn't the kabel chaimer that for sure the woman herself should be believed to bring a get, because those 5 women cannot say he died, but yet they could bring the get. So here where she, the wife, which as long as she's not one of those 5 women, meaning so she's believed to say the husband died, so for sure she could bring her get and say b'fan and after. So then the question is, nashim sh'amar chachamim. So what you see is from this brisa is that those 5 women that the sages said, they're the ones that are not believed to say that the husband died. But it sounds like isha ba'alma mehemni, a regular woman, including the wife, is believed to say, according to Rabbi Kiva, that the husband died. But that contradicts what we just quoted from the Mishnah. He said you cannot have an isha saying that the man died. You can have an eirecha, but it can be isha, can be evet, can be shivcha, can be krevim. But here we see that a regular woman is believed. It's just those 5 women that are not believed, and actually can be used in his kabel chaimer. And if this woman, or the wife, is believed to say that the husband died, because only those 5 women are not, so you tell me that one woman is, but that contradicts what you just said in the Mishnah. It says Gemara Kash is not difficult. Kan in our Mishnah is kodim shech ziku, is before this incident that we had this ruling from Nechemi Ish Beis Li, where that's where they meaning before that, then he didn't permit. But kan la'achar shech ziku, but here in the Brisa is talking about when already after Nechemiah said his testimony. Oh, then Rabbi Kiva said that yes, of course, we will trust a woman. It's not. He doesn't say anymore lo pi isha. That was only before the mafsik, based on the story of Nehemiah Ish based Li. Then before he only said that you can't be al pi isha. But afterwards, then you're right. He agreed to the principle that it could even be of al pi isha, and therefore a woman is believed to say that the husband died. Now we continue with the final Mishnah in this Masechta that continues with this theme of actually the previous Mishnah that we just said. Amrulai, they said to Rabbi Kiva, in other words, that he said, at least before they had changed the status, Rabbi Kiva was of the opinion that held that a woman is not believed to say that their husband died. Subsequently, we said that he did agree, and that's what the Brisa says that a woman could. But originally, he held that a woman could not. So on that, the sages said to Rabbi Kiva, how can you say that? Ma'aseh b'nei Levi, there was a story with a bunch of Levim. They went to Tsar, the city of the palm trees. One of the Levim got sick. They brought him to a motel. And on the way back, they said to the innkeeper, to the woman of the house, where's our friend? Oh, so she said to them, Oy, Mace, he died. And they buried him. And they married off his wife. So said the Chacham to Rabbi Kiva, in other words, Abbas Yisrael, or let's say for sure Kehenes, who is Meucheses, who is someone of distinct lineage, should for sure be trusted at least Kapundikis, like this lowly owner of this motel, which we're going to explain in the Gemara what exactly is the what's worse about that she's a motel woman. But the point is that they were saying, you see that a woman is believed. So Amalahu, he said to them, Rabbi Kiva said to them, no. Likashehei, when she's going to be Kapundikis, in other words, two interpretations in Rashi. In the way that we believe this motel keeper, this innkeeper, this woman, that's going to be other women, then the menace, then she'll be believed. Why? Meaning because Apundikis, the story is, you didn't say the whole story. She brought out to them his stick, the Tamila, his pouch, the Sefer Torah Shabiyod, and the Sefer Torah that he had by him. So that's how we know that he died. Or another interpretation that Rashi is really saying is that, in other words, when you're going to find out that this is true, that they believe the Pundikis, then fine, believe a regular Jewish woman. But the truth is they didn't rely on her. Rather, what happened is that she was just speaking innocently, and she brought out the stick and his knapsack, and it looked like, definitely seemed to be indicating that he was dead, but not because she was intending to testify. You won't be able to bring a raya to a Jewish woman who wants to testify. We don't rely on the testimony. Now we believe him in the then we'll believe, and so you can't bring a raya from the Pundikis because she wasn't intending to actually say testimony. As you continue to the base, which the Gemara asks as a question, my Greius of the Pundikis. What is it that makes the woman innkeeper any worse than a Jewish woman that you want to bring a raya from the fact that we trusted the Pundikis? For sure we should trust a Jewish woman. So Rav Kani says because Pundikis Oibed is Kachavim Haisa. This actually was a non-Jewish innkeeper, the woman. So therefore, on the one hand, the Rabban wanted to bring a raya because Rabbi Kiva wanted the Rabban wanted to bring a raya that you see that if we believed her, then for sure we should believe a Jewish woman. But Masechah Lefi Tuma Haisa, which actually is what Taisa's question is. He says, if she was just innocently talking, so what did the Rabban want to bring a raya for a regular Jewish woman? Taisa says that she wasn't literally Masechah Lefi Tuma. Just as she brought out is like she was instantly saying, like the Gemara says, she said, Zemakli, this is his stick, Vizet Tamila, this is his pouch, Vizet Kevesh, and this is where I buried him. Rabbi Kiva wants to reject the raya and say, like Shayla Pundikis, because what do you mean? She's not coming to testify. She's just Masechah V'tumah. Then we believe even the non-Jew. Don't bring a raya to a Jewish woman. But Tais says, but Rabbanan held that no, could be she was doing this for testimony, for like to testify and say, look, I'll prove it to you. But we don't. That's what I'm saying. So therefore, that's really the nuance about the difference between the Kiva and the Rabbanan. Rabbanan wanted to bring a raya to say, you see, she comes to testify. And the Kiva says, no, she's not testifying. She'll be Masechah V'tumah. And therefore, that's why I believed her. But a regular woman would come to say testimony. You're not going to bring a raya to me that a woman is believed to say from that story that the woman could get remarried. He also taught a brisa. The puntik is that woman was a non-Jewish owner of the motel. She was just instantly saying, but she was just saying over the story. She didn't realize she's not going to come in to testify, again, according to Rabbi Kiva, which according to Rabbanan, that no, she was coming to testify, and yeah, we believe this, so for sure we should believe a regular woman too. Now, says the Gemara, how could you say that she was just being masich lefitumai? Let's say for sure according to Rabbi Kiva that wants to reject the eye and says she was just instantly saying, but they said to her, where's our friend? So obviously she wasn't just innocently saying over the story, they were like, where's our friend? And like she's coming to testify about what actually happened to her. Says the Gemara, no, keeping the chazisinu bachya, it's because they saw her crying. Amr Lord, that's why they said to her, where's our friend? They got nervous because they saw her crying when they came. So Amr Lam, she said to them, Oy Meis, he died, and they buried him. So that's lefitumo. Because before they even asked anything, she started crying. That definitely tells us that she's not just coming to say testimony, she was instantly saying over the story, says, oh, I'm so sorry to tell you that your friend passed away. So therefore, that's why this would be qualified as a case of Masech Levituma. Now, regarding this halacha that we spoke about much in the last parakim, regarding believing the Eid Echad, so we have a machlekes, turn abon, learn a brisa. There was a certain person that came in front of Reb Tarfon to testify regarding a woman that her husband died to have her get remarried. Amalai, so he said to him, B'ni, my son, how do you know regarding the testimony of this woman that to let her get remarried? Somebody says, I'll tell you what the story was. It says, me and this person that I'm saying that he died, we were going on the road, and there was a bunch of bandits that were running after us. And that individual, he went and he grabbed a hold of a branch of a fig tree. Olive tree. Oh, right. This is the next Gemara. So grabbed a branch of an olive tree, and he is it Rashi has a different gear to Te'ena? That's interesting. Unless that's a later Gemara. He has a fig. Rashi has Te'ena. You have to know why, what's the difference. Right, there's the next Gemara, right, the Te'ena, right, yeah. So yeah, he grabs a hold of, why did he skip this and explain that, but okay. Anyway, he grabbed a hold of a branch of an olive tree, and he tore it down to make a stick out of it. And he was able to beat them back, these bunch of bandits. So I said to him, Aryeh, lion, Yashakachacha. We usually use the term of thanks, but Yashar Kechacha means literally that your power should be strengthened, like, more power to you. You're a mighty warrior and you have the heart of a lion. So Amar Li said to me, how do you know my name is Aryeh? This is what they call me in my town. Aryeh, the lion, the Mikvar Shechaya from the village of Shechaya. Now, so that's how I knew who he was. Liyamim, a few days later, Chala Umeis, he got sick and he died. So, but he's Reb Tarfon, the sister. Reb Tarfon went and married off his wife based on the testimony of this person. Now, the problem is, why are we bringing this story? The Gemara has a question on this. Reb Tarfon does not require to do investigative questioning on this person who's testifying, like he just heard the story and he married off the wife. But B'tanya in the Brisa, very similar story, but as we said, this is maybe with a fig tree. It says, same type of story. Somebody came in front of Reb Tarfon to testify, testify regarding a woman that her husband died. Amalai said to him, B'ni, my son, how do you know this testimony? Amalai said to him, look, we were going on the road, and there was a troop, a bunch of bandits running after us. Again, I don't know why this changed over here, but he grabbed a hold of a fig branch and he tore it off. And he beat them back. You're more power to you, Aryeh. Amali said to me, you got it. You hit it on the button. That's my name. My name is Aryeh. That's what they call me in my town. Yochanan ben Yonason, Aryeh the lion, the Mikvar Shechaya from the village of Shechaya. A few days later, he got sick and he died. So Amalai, Reb Tarfon said to him, meaning he was starting to be Darish V'chayker. He was trying, maybe he's going to flip-flop on what he said. says, wait a second, didn't you tell me in the beginning of the story that Yechanan ben Yonasan, the Mikfar Shechaya Aryeh, that in other words, that the village was called Aryeh, not him, from the village of Shechaya the lion? Amalei says, lie, no. This is what I told you. I told you, Yechanan ben Yonasan, Aryeh, he was a lion, the Mikfar Shechaya, from the village of Shechaya. And he was kept on analyzing on him 2 or 3 different times, like to ask and says, wait a second, well, didn't you tell me that and that? And the witness was exacting in his words. The married of his wife. But one thing we see is that he was being derish v'chayker. The first version has him not being derish v'chayker. So does he hold the halach of drisha v'chaykira on the witnesses to marry up the wife or not? It says the Gemara Tanoi, it's a machlokes Tanoi. It's kind of like learning the Brisa. Ein beit ken edin nashim drisha. We do not inspect the witnesses to allow a woman to get remarried with drisha, which are these types of tests to see if he's going to be exacting in his words. V'chakira, which is the analysis of what day and what hour. So that says the Rebbe Kiva that you don't do that for the witnesses of having women get remarried. The Tefillim says no, bite can know. You do investigate and in the testimony of the witnesses. So the Gemara explains that they're disagreeing with what Rabbi Chanina said. Meaning, Rabbi Chanina says, according to biblical law, whether monetary law, whether it's capital punishment, you have to do different types of investigative questioning on the witnesses. Why? Because Shneimah says that should be one judgment for you, which is in regard to old Jewish law. Now, since we find regarding capital punishment that it says in Devarim Yud Gimel you have to heavily investigate the witnesses, so the same thing would apply to monetary law. Now, why is it that they said that dinim amanas ain't shichin dishvachagir? Why is it that we don't, when it comes to a court case regarding some type of a capital, regarding a monetary case, that we don't investigate and sequester the witnesses? Is because we don't want to close the door in front of the bars, because every time it took so hard to prove your point, like you with a capital case punishment, that to get your $50 out of the guy, no one want to lend money anymore. So if a guy has eidim, that's enough. We don't investigate him. Now, what are they disagreeing about over here regarding the edus isha, when someone testifies that their husband died, if you're going to be derish v'chayker or not? It says follows: Mar Savar. One opinion holds, keeping the ikiksuba lemishkal, since what's going to be collected over here, if it's true that the husband died, that what this guy's testifying, the woman's going to get remarried based on what they're saying and take her ksuba, because from the ksuba is where we learn out, when you get married to someone else, you're going to take what is written to you over here. Oh, so then kedin imam is damani. So then, and it sounds like almost primary, that it sounds like that the primary element of the woman getting remarried, we view it as a monetary case. Now, just like by monetary law, or even not primary, but at least it has a monetary aspect. And by monetary case, we said we're not going to do Rish V'Chagira, even though biblically you have to, because we want to avoid Shlei Tin L'Das B'Fnei Levi. And this is also a monetary case, which is included in that category, that we're not going to do Rish V'Chagira. So the other opinion held that no, keeping the Kosherin and Eishes Islam, since this testimony is obviously letting a married woman get married to someone else by testifying that the husband died, we're going to qualify this as a capital punishment case, because if she's really married, whoever has relations with her gets misa of chenek, of strangulation. So therefore, whoever's testifying regarding the woman needs to have drisha v'chakira, because it is related to capital punishment, like the nefashis. And the Gemara concludes, Amid of Elazar and Chanina, which we always want to end on a good note, especially on this. The Maharsha says that this whole halacha that we had in the last prakim regarding letting a woman get remarried based on really uprooting biblical law that requires a pishnaim edim yakum navi, after 2 witnesses, and here we're having 1 witness, is because of darchei shalom, because the ways of Torah are sweet and it brings peace into the world. And therefore we end on a similar note of Talmidei Chacham and Talmidei Scholars, Amarim Shalom Ba'olam, they increase peace in the world. All your sons are limudi Hashem, are students of Hashem. Rav Shalom B'nayich, and abundance of peace have your sons. Now the Gemara in Brachas has a similar ending. As we know, there's 4 Masechtas that have the Rosh Tevas of B'nayich. As Brachas, Nazar, Yevamos increases, and by Brachas it ends, I'll take B'nayich, El B'nayich, don't read it to your sons, but rather your builders. Those are the ones who, the Banayim, the ones who build the world, are the Lemdei Torah. And Hadnalachi Shabbos, which I return to you The 16th paragraph of Yevamos is Isha Basa, the last Isha, because there was a different Isha, Isha Shalom, which again speaks about the husband's dying. With Slikilam is Yevamos, we have concluded. That's Yevamos, Mazel Tov, You thought that they would never come.